Hey everybody, Jim the Tabletop Engineer here, and welcome to a new episode. This is going to be something a little different than my standard videos, but it's something I hope you enjoy. It will be an ongoing type thing. If you have watched any of my previous videos, quite a while back, a couple months or more, I covered this game called 5 Parsecs from Home. As you can see, I now have the actual rule book. I'm not normally a person who actually needs a rule book, a physical rule book. I can work from PDFs, but sometimes it is kind of nice to have an actual book. I don't do it with all my books, but some books I will use little sticky notes to create little indexes so I can find things. And I have to tell you, this is kind of one of those books where that's going to be really valuable. There's a lot of charts that you're referencing and tables that you're rolling on. And I think over time, this book is going to develop some little tabs to help me navigate it. But so here's what I'm going to do. Previously in a video, I had rolled up a crew, and I actually played that crew a little bit, but I got wiped out in one episode, and I don't know. There was something that just didn't feel quite right about that crew. This time around, however, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to actually run a campaign. I'm going to start videoing each game as I play it. I'm also going to video the before game and after game or after battle, post battle rolls, and I'll do all this on the video. Right now, what I've done, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sheets here of notes. This is my new crew and the new ship and all the equipment that I have. And so what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to point the camera down and I'm going to roll up the first campaign. The world, the patron, any rivals. I think I do have rivals on this planet. I'm going to roll that up and go ahead and roll up the very first battle encounter that I will face. And that will allow me over the next few days to gather the terrain, the miniatures and such, and then I'm going to film that and I'll narrate it as I'm playing it, and then I'll do the post-game rolls. And what I'm going to try to do with these videos is always provide you with like scans. Like I've scanned these 4 documents, and they'll be available as a PDF that you can download, so you can look at what my crew looks like and what their gear is and what their stats are and things like that. And I'll document all this and keep it as a living document that will grow and grow as this campaign moves on. Hopefully I survive. Without further ado, let me get the camera, move down to the tabletop, and I will walk through tables to get my first battle campaign ready to go. So let's get to the tabletop. All right, everybody, I have my crew and ship sheets here. I have a dice app that I'll be using to roll, some notebook paper, and the book. If you have the book or the PDF, I'll try to remember to call out page numbers so you can sort of follow along. Now, when you play this game, the first time you play it, you assume that your crew is on a world and you're just going to go straight into battle. But what I thought would be kind of fun would be to actually move through all the steps, or at least most of the steps that are on page 68. And the first one you do is you have to roll to see if you're fleeing an invasion. Well, the world I'm on, I don't know if it's being invaded or not. That doesn't come into play. But if it were, I would have to roll 2d6, and on an 8 or higher, I successfully get off. 7 or lower, I get stuck. And there's things that happen if you get stuck. You go straight to another battle, but we're going to assume that my ship is ready to travel. So step 2 is decide whether to travel. I am. Now, the rules state that if you have a ship, it costs 5 credits to travel to a new world. However, my ship details here, I have a fuel hog. I have a battered mining ship that I rolled up. And its hull is 35. It put me 23 credits in debt. And it says that when you travel to a new world, fuel is +1. So I'm automatically spending 6 of that 23 credits to travel to this new world. So I'm going to spend -5 credits, travel to new world. I have the worst handwriting, so especially when I'm narrating. So I'll try to clean this up later. All right, so I've automatically lost 5 credits. Next step is to see if there's an event. There's a bunch of pages. I'll start on page 70. You roll a D100, so I'm going to roll a 100 and the 10s. I rolled a 94. 91 plus, or 90 plus, how does that happen? I guess, oh, I rolled a 91. I guess that does roll anywhere from 0 to 100. I thought it only rolled the 10, 20, 30, 40. So I rolled a 91. Let me look and see what this does. 91 is simply time to reflect. Add +1 story point. So I get another story point. Story points are very, very useful in this game. You can use them for a lot of things. Not the least of which is just re-rolling a die that doesn't go your way. But you can also use them for saving things, doing instant type repairs. There's a whole set of rules about what you can and cannot do with story points. So the good news is I just got a free one for traveling to this world. So I had 9, now I have 10. So I'm going to put on here +1 story point. And I think what I'm going to try to do, I'll try to remember this, is I'm going to write down what my roll was. 91 roll, page 72. That way, when I scan these notes, you'll be able to verify or at least go and read it yourself if there's any other details. All right, so I have arrived on a new world. Now, granted, this is supposed to get much faster as you get better, but I'm just going down this chart on page 68, and the next one is I need to do new world arrival. So the first thing I do is I check to see, do I have any rivals on this world? I roll a 1d6, and on a 5+, they opt to follow you, otherwise they remain behind. Well, that's weird. I guess I could. I had a rival on the previous world, so let's roll a 1d6, and if I get a 5 or higher, what did I do with my dice app? On a 5 or higher, I rolled, of course, I rolled a 5. Rolled a 5. So I have a rival followed me to this world. Rival followed. Dismiss patrons. All patrons remain behind unless they are persistent. Well, I had like 3 patrons when I rolled this up, but since I'm jumping to a new world and none of them were stated as being persistent, I lose all patrons. And you get patrons when you travel to new worlds. Things happen, you roll things, so I've lost all my patrons. That's cool. Check for licensing. Do I need a license to land on this planet? Roll a d6. On a 5 or 6, the world requires a freelancer license, all right? I rolled a 4, so there is no license. No license. And you know what? I need to name this world. We'll call this, I was just in Orlando, so I'm going to call it Orlando. And it does not need a license to land on. If I did need a license, it costs credits, or you can attempt to forge it. And if you screw that up, you get a rival on the world. So I don't want to. I'm glad I don't have to do that. Now I rolled up the world traits, which is a D100. I rolled an 83. Which is on page 75. And 83 is fuel shortage. Man! All right, fuel shortage, and let's see what that says. It is the cost to travel from this world is raised by 1d3 credits. You may roll each campaign turn. So that can change. Like if you decide to stay, campaign turns are what happens between each combat. So after I do a combat and post rolls, if I stay on this planet, that's another campaign turn, or I can choose to leave the world. So right now, let's go ahead and roll that 1d3. I have a 3 dice. Of course it's 3. Why not? So it's +3 fuel to leave after this first campaign turn ends. All right, I'm not off to a good start. I'm spending money left and right just to get off this planet. All right, now let's see, the new world. I did the world trait. Now I go to what's called step 2, which is on page 68, and it's called the world. Step 2 is world steps. You're going to do upkeep and ship repair, assign crew tasks, determine job offers, assign equipment, resolve any rumors, and choose your battles. So this is where we're getting into it. So upkeep and ship repairs. Well, my ship did not take any damage during that travel event, but I can choose. If it did, I can spend 1 credit to repair a damage point. You can also sell equipment to pay for upkeep, it says, but luckily I don't have to do that yet. So the next step is ship debt. I am 23 credits in debt on my ship, I believe. It was the same as the number of credits that I rolled up randomly. Yeah, 23 debt. And if you you always add 1 credit if you owe 31 or more, or if you owe 75 or more, it can get repossessed. Thankfully, I don't own that. But if you own 31 credits or more, the bank adds 2 credits. But so I only owe 23, so I'm going to add 1 credit of debt. I don't want to pay off 1 and gain 1. So what I'm going to do is I am now down to 16 credits. No, 18. No, I lost 6 credits for fuel. I'm down to 17. I'm going to spend, I'm probably going to regret this. I'm going to spend 3 credits paying ship debt. And that lowers my ship debt to, to 20. And then I add 1. So I'm at 21, which kind of stinks. But the idea is you want to get that ship paid off. Never let it get too high, by the way. Ship repair, I've already done this. If your ship has sustained hull points, oh, by the way, I forgot upkeep. Upkeep is like food and water and things like that. It says each campaign turn you must upkeep for your crew, representing paychecks, booze, food, anything else. Upkeep costs 1 credit if you have 4 to 6 crew, and then plus 1 for each additional crew past 6. I only have a crew of 6, so I'm already down 1 credit for food for upkeep. Minus 1 credit for upkeep. So I am now at 20. I'm at 20. I was at 23. I did 6, 17, 14, minus 1. I am down to 13 credits in my bank account. All right, pay for medical care. Don't need it. If you have players or miniatures or crew members that get hurt during a mission, they have to go into sick bay, and it costs credits for them to get healed. Next, I assign and resolve crew tasks. Now, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 different duties that I can assign to my 6 crew. Find a patron, train, which means you can get XP with your weapons or whatever. Trade, might bring you some new equipment. Recruit, add new members to your crew. Explore, which gives you some random things that happen. Track, which means you're looking for your rival so that you can go into battle with them and hopefully wipe them out, and they won't bug you anymore. Rivals are persistent on a world. If you don't get rid of them, they can mess up things later on. I can repair something that's been damaged, like a gun or armor, and then I can do decoy, which means it helps rivals who are hunting for me. So I'm on this world. I have a rival that followed me. I don't want those rivals to find me because they can cause more trouble, and they tend to send more powerful enemies after me. So decoy might be useful. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm looking at my crew. By the way, my crew is, the captain is a human. I haven't named him yet. I will name him. I have a human, a bot, a feral, which is a creature, a precursor, which is a creature, a swift, which is a creature, and a minor alien. No, I did not roll those up randomly. What I did was I picked them based on the rules to match certain miniatures that I have. So I have an all alien crew except for 1 robot and 1 human, and I really just like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to send the captain to, at this point, I'm just going to write human, bot, feral, because I don't have names for them yet. That was bad. I should have done that. The precursor, the swift, and the minor alien. The human, I'm going to have find a patron. You can only assign one of these tasks to at most 2 crewmen. Find patron. I'm going to send the bot to some of these things, some of these roles like find a patron or train. They can benefit from certain stats like savvy, like repair. Roll 1d6 and add savvy ability. So if I had something I wanted to repair, I'd probably want to assign my bot because he's +4 savvy. Everyone else is +0. But I have nothing right now to repair. And then I think the rest of them are just basically, the rest of them don't really rely on any stats. It's just that one. So I do want to explore. So I'll send the miner to explore, and you'll figure out real quick certain tasks like explore or trade. They can sometimes get you money or equipment and things like that. You can find interesting things. Nothing to repair. I'm not looking for my rivals, so I'm not going to be tracking them. I'm going to recruit. I'm going to send the precursor to recruit. See if I can get another member. I'll send the feral to trade. I will send the bot to trade, and I'm going to send the swift to. I'm going to do 2 explore, 2 trade, and a recruit, and a find patron. All right. So on a find patron, to find a patron, roll a 1d6 and add the number of crew members who are looking. Well, I've only got the 1. If the crew has an old patron, each patron adds +1 to the roll. I do not. Remember, I lost all my patrons. After rolling, you may opt to spend credits. Each credit adds a +1 bonus. So you can do that after you roll. So that's kind of cool. So I need a 5 or higher to find a patron. So if I roll a 4, I could burn a credit and raise that to 5. So let's roll a d6. I rolled a 2, which becomes a 3 because I've got one person on that team. So 3. I am not going to worry about a patron on this planet right now. I am getting low on funds, and I don't want to spend too much because I may need that for medical or to buy some new equipment. All right, so I did not find a patron. Let's do the trade. Trade. For each crew member trading, roll once on the trade table to see what presents. You can get additional rolls by sending 3 credits. Well, I'm not going to do that. All right, I have 2 traders, and here's the table. So the first one is a 76, which corresponds to a chance to unload some stuff. A revolutionary will buy any weapons for 2 credits each, provided they are not damaged. That stinks. Normally, you can sell them for 1. I'm not selling any of my weapons, so that was a bummer. And then the second one is an 82, which is gently used. Roll once on the gear subsection of the loot table. The item is damaged and needs repair. Well, that's okay. Gear subsection of the loot table on page 132. So we'll jump to page 132. And it says the gear subsection of the loot table. Gear subtable. All right, so that's a D100. I rolled an 85. Utility items. So what did I roll back here? I rolled an 82, which allowed me to roll on a gear on page 132. And then that utility items, I come over here to the utility items, and I go 3. I rolled a 3. An auto sensor. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look it up. An auto sensor, and the rule said that it is damaged and needs repair. So I'll put a note that needs repair. So on my next time around, I may want to assign that bot to repair that if it's a good item. I don't know what it is. All right, so that's my 2 trades. Now let's go do recruit. Recruit. If your crew has fewer than 6 members, you can automatically recruit. That's cool. I should have reread that, but I didn't know that. I have 6. Roll a d6, add number of crews sent to recruit. A score of 6 or higher allows a new member. I'm only doing 1, so I need to roll a 5 on a d6, and I rolled a natural 6. So I get a new crew member. Each crew rolls on the random. All right, so I get a new crew, +1 crew, and I'm not going to do that here, but you go back and I will roll a random crew member up. I may do that at the end of this video. We'll see. But in the notes for this video, I will scan them, or in the next video, sorry, I'll update it and show you my new crew member. Cool, got a new crew member. They do not roll on the random background tables. Recruits have a basic profile and come armed with only a handgun. So it's just a dude with a handgun, and they get no background table, which adds things that can affect the stats. You can get bonuses and things like that. So none of that happens. That's okay. Now I get 2 explorers. Roll on the exploration table, page 80. All right, exploration table, page 80. First roll is a 98. This place is nice, really. When you are ready to leave this world, unless it is being invaded, you must pay 1 story point, or this crew member will decide to stay behind. Woo! When you are ready to leave this world, unless it's being invaded, you must pay 1 story point. Wow. So my precursor, I'm going to go ahead and pay it now. I don't want to lose him. He's a powerful guy. So I will go ahead and scratch off a story point to keep the precursor on crew. I do not want to lose him. And what I'll do is I'll take that back. If the world is not being invaded, I'll try to remember +1 if not invasion. All right, that'll be good to remember. All right, that was one explorer, and let me roll the other. Did I roll two? Yeah, no, that was the first one. The second one is an 89. Man, this thing is rolling high. 89 is offered a reward. When fighting this campaign turn, select a random terrain feature. If a crew member moves into contact and spends a combat action, you can retrieve a package to earn 2 credits. Nice. Plus 2 CR, page 82. All right, I'll have to remember that. That's not bad. So, plus 2 credits does not sound like a lot, but in this game, 1 credit is a lot. And you could think of it as 1 credit equals 10,000 credits. They're just, to keep you from having to write a lot of zeros and stuff, everything's been reduced to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that kind of number. Not the thousands, which I actually kind of like. Determine a job offer. If you received a job offer from a patron, you need to determine the details of the job. I did not. So that means the job I will take, or the standard job will be something called a, what is it? It's just a, it's a standard battle type opportunity mission. That's what it's called. I don't get any danger pay. There's no time frame because I don't have a mission from one, and there's no hazard pays or benefits. So I skip all those tables because I don't have a patron. So you definitely want patrons, but I don't have one. So now assign equipment. You can assign any equipment to your crew. All 6 of my crew will be going in the battle, so I'm not going to do this right here. I'll normally you have to actually, you know, as the step, you assign the weapons you have and any accessories and things. But I've already sort of done that on my sheets that you'll be able to look at here. Resolve any rumors. You may find rumors as you play. If you are not currently on a quest, roll a d6. If the roll is equal or below the number of rumors, remove all rumors from your roster. You now have received a quest. When I rolled this crew up, I had received 3 quest rumors. So roll a d6 if the roll is equal or below. All right, I want a 3 or lower. I rolled a 4. So I do not get a quest this battle. So obviously, as you gain quests, you'll get 5, 6, and it'll get easier to roll below that. When you get a quest, it's really cool. You get you go do a battle, but there's extra benefits involved. We are now to step 6 on page 85, which is choose your battle. If you'll remember, I gained 1 rival on this world. A rival followed me. So first off, it says you have to check to see if your rivals are going to give you the opportunity to choose my battle, because if they may choose it for me. And it says if you roll equal to or lower than the number of rivals, 1 has tracked you down. So all I need to do is roll a d6 and hope that I don't roll a 1. And I rolled a 5. So the rival does not get to control what kind of battle I'm going to fight. It's not so much that they control it, but it's a beefier, more lethal battle, probably. Quests and rumors remain, but a patron job will fail at the time. All right, so I don't have any patron or rival options. So if you are not attacked by rivals, you may select from one of the options below. I can carry out an opportunity mission. I can attack a rival if I tracked them, which I did not. I can continue a quest, which I don't have an active one. Or I can carry out a patron job, and I don't have a patron. So it basically eliminates everything but opportunity missions. So if you flip the page to page 88, you will see a chart that has the 4 different, you can do an opportunity or patron column, a rival column, or a quest column. And you may want to examine these, and what you'll notice is the numbers are more evenly divided for the opportunity, and they're more heavily weighed. The encounters get harder as you go down the column. And so for like a rival, it counts by 10. Each one is 1 to 10, 11 to, like 10 to 20, 20 to 30, like that. The quest, all the high numbers are like the last 3 or 4 missions, which means it's very, very hard. It's weighed to give you a more hard mission. The opportunity column, 1 to 40, will have no condition, so no special condition that influences the battle. So you want to roll low for that. So let's go ahead and roll for the deployment condition. And again, I'm writing all this down so you'll be able to see my notes, and I will copy all this by hand again. My deployment deployment notes are going to be horrible. All right, so I need to roll a D100. I rolled an 84. Of course I did. High. A bitter struggle. Enemy morale is +1. So if you've never played a game with morale basically affects whether or not enemies run away if they lose a certain number of their teammates. By increasing the enemy morale by +1, it's basically making it to where they're harder to, they're more resilient, more brave, less likely to run away. So that's not good. I am not fighting an invasion battle, so I won't roll on there. Now you roll on the determine the objective. There are objectives, and think of this book as my game area. And usually, your crew starts here and the enemies start over here. There's a move through, which means you have to have a certain number of your crew go all the way across and cross off. Deliver, which means one or more crew members has to get to a certain spot and take an action to deliver something. Access, which means it's pretty much the same thing. You've got to access maybe a computer or a non-player character. Patrol is an interesting one. You pick certain terrain, and you have to have, like, if it's 3 pieces of terrain or 2 or whatever, each piece of terrain that has to have a one of your crew within like a certain distance of it. That's like the patrol. And then fight off means you're basically running the enemy off. So let's roll for the opportunity mission objectives. I roll a D10 and I rolled a 6. Access. So the mission objective is access. And again, I'll have to verify that, but it'll tell you if you turn the page. Access. You must reach your computer console in the center. Once there, you must gain access. This requires a roll of 1d6 plus savvy and scoring is 6 or higher. So automatically, I know I want to send my robot, which has +4 savvy. Engineer or bot crew can add an extra +1. So my bot is at +5. So basically what that means is it's a guaranteed. Because if I roll a 1 plus 5 is a 6. So all I've got to do is get the bot to the computer terminal, which is kind of cool. All right, I don't have to worry about rivals because they're not attacking. By the way, the table for rivals, it just means once you get your attack set up, then the rivals will also throw additional stuff at you. It's horrible. You want to get rid of rivals and find patrons. Remember that. All right, let's keep going. So I'm going to access. I'm doing a opportunity mission. Determine the enemy. Here's the fun one. Enemy. All right, this is if you are fighting a rival, you will usually know who you are fighting, blah, blah, blah. I'm not doing that. Otherwise, you will need to generate the opposition for the mission you're about to undertake. First, roll a D100 on the enemy encounter table. So I have an enemy encounter table, which is where? On page 94. All right, remember, you have columns, so be sure you're rolling under the column. There's an opportunity, a patron, a quest, unknown rival. I'm rolling on the opportunity, and I need to roll a D100. I rolled a 22. Criminal elements, which is a good thing. Those are usually the weak characters. Criminal elements. It's each one of these corresponds to a table. Like criminal elements has a table. Hired muscle has a table. Interested parties has a table, and roving threats. And as those tables, as you go down that list, the tables, they get harder and harder and tougher. So criminal elements being the first one on this column typically has the easiest bad guys. But that table also gets harder. The top, you want to roll low because high means you've got criminal elements that are really, really tough. So because I'm rolling on the criminal elements, it's the very first table here. I'm going to roll a D100. It says, when engaging, there's an increased chance of a bounty being available. When setting up, roll a D6. If the score is 1 to 3, that many bonus credits will be paid if you hold the field. So not only do I have to do access, but hold the field, and I get a bonus. So let's see if I get that. I roll a D6. I rolled a 3. So I will get roll a D6 if the score is that many bonus. I'll get +3 credits if hold the field. And I think the way the rules state, if I hold the field, which means I run all the enemies off, I automatically succeed at whatever mission I am, which is access, because then the robot can just walk up and do his business. I'll double check that in the rules, but I'm pretty sure that's that I read that in the rules somewhere. All right, career criminals. When rolling to see if a defeated criminal becomes a rival, okay. So there's another rule here about when your battle is over, you have to roll to see if you've created a rival, if these guys are angry with you, and we'll do that at the end. When rolling to see if a defeated criminal group becomes a rival, you roll a 2d6 with a 1 on either die, indicating you've got them as a rivals. If both dice score a 1, they hate you, they become rivals, and increase their numbers by +1 in future battles. So hopefully these criminals do not become a rival. All right, so now it's time to roll for who they are. It's a 1 to 100. I roll a D100. Oh, golly, I keep rolling high, 84. Golly, which corresponds. You got to flip the page, and the further down the thing you go. This is Starport Scum. I like that. Starport Scum. So they have a certain number, which is +3. They have a panic of 1 to 3, and I think that morale means they get a +1 on the roll. So if you roll a d6 between 1 and 3, they panic, but the +1 means a 3 really becomes a 4. I'll double check all the rules, but I think that's how it works. So here's the thing about Starport Scum. They have a high toughness, 3. That's not good. Each of these charts tells you what kind of weapons they bring to the game. They're bringing 1A, which I think are really simple weapons, but I don't know that for a fact. We'll see. They also, each crew, each type of enemy you have will have a special ability. This one is called Friday Night Warriors. When a Starport Scum is slain, all allies within 6 inches will retreat a standard move at base speed directly back towards their own battlefield edge. So they're chickens. They have high morale, but they will retreat if I kill one of them. So I'll have to remember that they do have a special ability. All right, so I've determined who they are. Now I go and find out their weapon type. So keep flipping. Go to page 104. And by the way, this is taking a while, but obviously it will go much quicker if you're not having to narrate like what I'm doing. So, once you start doing this more and more, it gets much faster. You can roll this stuff up real quick. So, I'm checking on their weapon type. They are on a 1A. Here it is, weapon run. I roll a D6. They are equipped. Please roll low. I rolled a 2. They each have handguns. All right, they each have a handgun, which is good because if I defeat them, there's a chance I could recover one or more of those weapons. They all have a handgun. Now for their special, I'm rolling on an A column. I roll a D6 and I roll a 6. Handgun plus Ripper Sword. They all have a Ripper Sword, which is good for hand-to-hand close-up combat. So, wow, that's not good at all. All right, number of opponents. All right, here we go. Number of opponents. For a campaign crew of six, which I do, roll 2d6 and pick the higher result. This is the number of opponents. And remember, I've got to add 3 to it because the Starport Scum adds +3 to the number. So let's roll 2d6. First one is a 4, and the second one is a 4. So the highest is a 4. I add 3, so I've got 7 of these guys. Times 7. Wow. All right, but it gets even better. It gets even harder. Now you have to find out if they have any specialists, lieutenants, or unique individuals in their gang. I'm running a normal campaign, not easy or challenging or hardcore. So those things will alter the numbers. I'm just running a normal game, so there's no modification to the number generated. So I have 7. Now, it says the enemy force may include figures that are armed in a different way. They are referred to as specialists and lieutenants. If you encounter 3 to 6, 1 specialist will be present. If you encounter 7 or more, 2 specialists. So I've got 2 specialists, and these are part of that number. So if I understand it, they're not additional. It just means I've got 5 Starport Scum and then 2 specialists. Or if you encounter 4 or more opponents, 1 non-specialist will be a lieutenant, and they carry a blade in addition to normal weapon. The specialists and lieutenants are 2 different things. So a lieutenant just has a plus blade, and then I have that leaves the 2 specialists, which you roll. The specialist and the lieutenant get a separate 1A weapon roll. So let's roll for the lieutenant. The lieutenant is a 1 weapon. I roll a 6. He gets a scrap pistol. So I've got to figure out whether a scrap pistol or a handgun, which one does better. The lieutenant has a scrap gun, and his special is 2. A shotgun, of course. This guy is loaded. All right, and then the specialist. All right, so let's roll on that. Specialist 1. Rolled a 1. He gets a scrap pistol. And his specialist ability is a 3, which is an auto rifle. Really? And then specialist number 2 comes with a scrap pistol plus blade, which is, all right, and his specialist item is a 5, which is a hunting rifle. All right, so maybe my best bet is just to get to that computer and access it and end the game. I may not worry about holding the field. All right, that is it for the enemies. And then the next thing I do is I set up the battlefield. I'm going to probably be playing on a 2x2, 2 foot by 2 foot, and I'll set up the terrain and talk about it when the game starts. All right, that's all I have for now. I'm going to go copy my notes into a more easily read format, scan those, and they will be included in this video. This is Jim, the Tabletop Engineer. Everybody, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoy this 5 Parsecs from Home playthrough. Remember, these videos will be available to my patrons 1 week in advance. You'll get to watch them eventually, but if you're a patron of mine, you'll get to watch videos 1 week before they come out to the general audience. If you want to know some information about becoming a patron, it will be in the link below, but it's only $1 a month. I will hope you will maybe consider becoming a patron so you can get to watch these videos early. But if that's not your thing, if you don't like Patreon or if you don't feel like sponsoring me, that's cool. Just wait a week and these videos will come out 1 week after the patrons see them. So anyway, Jim, the Tabletop Engineer, everybody, take care.